It's Andy of Maybe I Will, and I wanted to go live, being totally vulnerable and totally real with you, because I think many of you have kind of been going through the same thing I have. This coronavirus has been rough. It has rocked my world in ways I never ever intended that it would. And I wasn't quite prepared for how it would affect me emotionally. So let me tell you a little story. A couple weeks ago, hi, thanks for joining me. I was getting into a baking kick, and I love to bake. That is just part of who I am. I'm a baker, and I really do enjoy it. But here's the problem. Is I was losing control. And one day, my favorite thing in the world, this is totally weird, but I love eating cake, like on a stand, but I like taking a fork and just picking at it. For whatever reason, that just makes me happy. It's weird, I know. But I was doing that. I was sitting there and, the stress of having the kids all home at the same time and having to run my business and also help them with their stuff was just really weighing on me. So I'm sitting at the counter and I'm picking at this cake. And as I'm eating bites and bites, it's a real thing. I could not stop myself. And this is something that I have struggled with my entire life. I know this about myself, that I am an emotional eater. And usually I've learned to stop myself when I get to that place where I start to emotionally eat. But I don't know if you guys feel this, but there is a weight in the air of all the heaviness that's going on right now. It's just that it's in the energy, and if you're aware and if you are sensitive to energies, there is definitely a weight right now, and that was weighing on me. And so as I'm sitting there picking at my cake, unable to stop myself, I sat there and I had a moment where I just said, internally, it was like my internal alarm system said, stop what you're doing. And I looked at the cake and I put the fork down and I said, this has to stop. There's a difference between enjoying cake, which I love. I am a big fan of cake and I enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we should celebrate life. We should eat the cake. But when cake controls you and you don't control the cake, that's when you get into dangerous territories. And that's where I was. The cake was controlling me. I wasn't controlling the cake. And I had to go back and remind myself to take control and to stop the eating right in its tracks. And here's the one thing that I have learned in my journey of this with emotional eating is to give myself grace. What I used to do when I would get into these cycles of emotional eating is I would just go immediately into guilt mode. And I would feel terrible about myself. And I would beat myself up. And then I'd go, strict. I'm not going to eat anything bad. I'm going to be so good. And then that would cause me to be deprived. And then I would slip back into, and then I would get frustrated. And then I would eat. And it would be this vicious cycle. So one thing I have learned is that when I do make a mistake, or when I do find myself emotionally eating, I give myself grace. And I say, you know what? Today was a rough day. There was a lot of emotions. I felt a lot of emotions today. There was a lot going on. But instead of going down the rabbit hole of beating myself up, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to learn from what I just did, and I'm going to move forward. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I let food control me. And I'm going to get back to making smarter, better choices. So the next time around, that power will be mine and it won't have power over me, because you guys got to give yourself grace. Grace is so important. It's when we beat ourselves up and we're just so rough and we're so mean to ourselves. That inner mean girl can be terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So if we can shut her down and give ourselves some grace and be like, you know what? Today was a rough day. And that's okay. But I might have messed up on this meal, but this next meal, I'm going to make sure I have extra veggies in it. I'm going to be better to myself because I love myself enough to know how to properly give nutrition to my body and give my body what it needs, because it doesn't want the cake. I mean, it's fun to have the cake, but your body really does want those lean proteins. It wants those vegetables, those things that it will give it energy to always perform at its best. But emotional eating is tricky. So give yourself grace. Absolutely. Always the answer is give yourself love and grace and forgiveness. If you do find yourself emotionally eating a lot, and I find when I start coaching with people, one of the first things I tell them to do is I kind of do things backwards when I coach people. Instead of telling them these are your calories, these are your goals, I say I want you to just take this week and I want you to just journal everything you eat. What time, what you ate, and how you felt. And I want you to do that for a whole week. So instead of like jumping into this diet plan, we're actually doing some homework. We're doing some discovery. And we're looking at habits and how we feel about what we're eating. And so I tell them to get into a non-judgment zone. There's no judgments. It's just curiosity. I see at 3 o'clock every day, I'm reaching for a chocolate chip cookie and a soda. What could I eat differently that would give me the same results as eating a chocolate chip cookie and a soda that would be better for me? So maybe it's a flavored water or a sparkling water and a protein bar that's still delicious and still that sweet treat that I crave at that time, but it's going to be a better choice. And then I can plan for it because I did the homework of seeing what my baseline my baseline habits were. So that's a really good thing to do. So that's a really good, if you find yourself struggling, that's a great place to start, is to go in and record just a little journal about how you're feeling emotionally. And then a lot of times when we feel hunger, it's just that we're thirsty. So drink your water. I'm a big proponent of water. You need to be drinking 2/3 of your weight in ounces in water. I shoot for about 100 ounces a day. That's way more than 2/3 my weight, but it keeps me hydrated so that I don't have that hunger, so I don't get my cues confused with hunger and thirst. So that's a big tip. Use sugar-free gum. If you feel like you need to do something with your mouth, I mean, there's always kissing. There's lots of things you can do with your mouth. But it's a good way to keep you occupied so that you kind of put your mind off of it. Start a project. And always, I am a big proponent of tracking calories because no matter what diet you're on, whether you're keto or paleo or, I mean, any diet, the bottom line is being in a calorie deficit. So as long as you're tracking those calories every day, like I tell my clients, I'm like, honestly, if you ate cupcakes all day long, but you stayed under your calorie goal, you would lose weight. Science. But will you feel terrible and be starving? Absolutely. Or you can eat foods that are high in nutrients and low in calories so that you are getting more bang for your buck. It's like bargain shopping with calories. It's kind of a fun way to look at it. But anyways, those are some things to help you get through these hard times. A lot of things, it's just mindfulness, being mindful, paying attention to our feelings. We really are in a society of masking our feelings, not letting ourselves feel. We're drowning things out with being so busy, being so, there's so much yelling at us that it's really hard to like really listen to ourselves and be intuitive to our needs and to really listen to our bodies. And what's kind of, this is one of the bonus things about if you're home is you have more time to think. You have more time to meditate. You have more time to get in tune with who you are so that you can really start to listen to your body and you can really learn from it. So those are some really good tips too, is to meditate. Go for long walks. One thing me and my husband have started doing during this whole quarantine that I've actually really loved is we get done with dinner, we ditch our kids, and we go for a walk. And we walk for like a mile or two. It's just it's a time where I can get out of the house without children. It's fantastic. And my husband and I can connect and we can chat. We talk about our day. We talk about what's going on. And it's been a kind of this like little magical time in the evenings that we really have enjoyed. So adding in some of these new habits are great during this stressful time. So keep moving your body, keep meditating, keep going inward. And for the love, please give yourself some grace, give yourself some love. I am new to this whole going live thing, and I kind of rambled there, and I'm learning, I'm growing, where this is new. But one thing I'd like to do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this too, is I'm going to try and pop on every day with a message. Something to help you guys keep motivated, answer any questions you guys have. I am a personal trainer and a nutrition specialist, so any questions you have, I'd be more than happy to help you with those. And hopefully this is kind of a fun chat that we can have every day. I'm going to try and figure out a time that I can keep myself accountable. And this will be another thing. It will make me actually have to get ready every day. You can tell I really spent a lot of time on my hair today. It's just looking top notch. But thank you for joining me today. I hope this was inspiring. I hope this helped you guys, because let's face it, emotional eating is hard. It's so hard. So I hope these tips helped you, and that you learned something. And like I said, if you have any more questions about emotional eating, I can do a follow-up chat tomorrow, answering more questions, or please reach out to me via message or email, and I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Have a lovely day.